Welcome to the Brain Health Hookup. I'm Laurel Myers Hurst, your resident groovologist, and I believe that better mental health needs to be fun. Here we talk about mental wellness, we explore the physical, emotional, and relational needs we have as humans with the science and practices that help our mental health to flourish. Plus, we dive into my signature method, groove therapy, that engages folks in groove-based music making to lift mood and lower inflammation and pain. I'm so glad you're here. So let's hit it.
Well.
That's a deep subject.
I don't know if you've ever been called a carb queen or if you experience nasty food cravings that left you feeling famished even though you had just recently eaten or you knew you had probably had enough to eat for the day. That's what we're going to talk about today. If you've had a constant, insatiable background conversation with yourself about hunger, cravings, thoughts about food, when you should or shouldn't be eating, that's something we call food noise. Food noise is such a great term for this experience because sometimes the volume is cranked way up and sometimes it's just low in the background. But the general feeling is it doesn't make a lot of sense. It's just always there, speaking to you, giving you cues about what you should do in a very vague and persistent way. Food noise is also so important to mental health because when you have it, it's a sign of an underlying problem that most definitely affects your brain. Why? Because of bad actors called bad bacteria. So you have bad bacteria in your gut and good bacteria in your gut. The good ones are called probiotics because they're for you. Yay. But bad bacteria are different. They live in your upper gut. They eat carbs and simple sugars. Their waste are neurotoxins called LPS or lipopolysaccharides. And when there are too many of these bad bacteria, you get in a state of overgrowth that we call gut dysbiosis. You may or may not have heard about all of those nasty attributes of bad gut bacteria, but if you've been living in 2024, you have to have heard the term good bacteria or probiotics. Again, you might be missing a lot of the really important details about probiotics. That's what I'm going to tell you now. So, good bacteria live in your lower gut, unlike bad bacteria that eat simple carbs and sugars. Good bacteria eat fiber. And whereas bad bacteria make neurotoxins, good bacteria make things we actually use. So their poop becomes things that we need for our essential health and function. I'm going to give you a partial list, but remember that each item I'm going to name is just a category of biologically beneficial substances. So there are exponentially more good things that bacteria make for us than are mentioned here. So I'm going to list them off and then go into detail. Brief detail. The first item or category of items that good bacteria excrete as waste are short-chain fatty acids. Then we have B vitamins, bacteriocins, amino acids, organic acids, enzymes, exopolysaccharides, peptides, plasmalogens, and biosurfactants. So breaking it down, all of these waste products of bacteria, good bacteria or probiotics, eating fiber is these huge list of categories of helpful products. You might have remembered that in the 90s, we got introduced to the Cheerios Bee. The Cheerios Bee was talking all the time about how good oatmeal was for your heart. And it's not as if oatmeal cleans your blood. It's that oatmeal provides the fiber that good bacteria eat, leading to a cascade of health benefits. And that's some of the things we're going to go into just now. The first category of benefits that I mentioned from probiotics are the production of short chain fatty acids. So, short chain fatty acids work close to the site, that lower gut area, by feeding and maintaining a healthy gut lining. So they're really important to your gut physiology, keeping a nice, tight, smooth lining on your gut. But they work farther out in your body by improving insulin resistance. So making your body more reactive to the insulin you create to keep your blood sugar steady. So there's a strong correlation between the amount of short chain fatty acids we have and the onset of diabetes, type 1 and type 2. If you remember, if you've heard in the popular media, some researchers are calling Alzheimer's disease type 3 diabetes, meaning the same kind of insulin resistance and inflammation we see in type 1 and type 2 eventually left unchecked lead to Alzheimer's disease, or very quietly exhibit as Alzheimer's disease, even in people who don't show diabetes in screenings. Short chain fatty acids can help with the absorption of sodium. It's so important to your heart health. And they also go all the way to the brain and cross the blood-brain barrier to regulate the immune system in the brain. You've heard me talk in other episodes about how brain inflammation and bipolar disease specifically have to do with this kind of irritability because of unregulated immune function. So B vitamins, that's the next category we're going to talk about. B vitamins do so many important things like DNA replication, repair of your cells, methylation, so turning on and turning off the switches in your DNA. B vitamins, several of them are excreted by good bacteria. The good bacteria make those B vitamins as their waste, and then we use it. Good bacteria or probiotics also excrete bacteriocins. These are antimicrobial particles. They have such an advantage over other antibiotics because they only affect a very narrow scope of bad bacteria. So these naturally made bacteriocins don't wipe out all the good, the bad, and the ugly of the gut microbiome. They select that narrow band of dysbiotic or bad causing bacteria and leave the other good ones in place. So bacteriocins are a wonderful product of probiotics. Amino acids also come directly from probiotics themselves. Amino acids, just call them the building bricks of everything in the body. Every single tissue, every substance in the body, amino acids are building those things, or the building blocks of those things. And every time those good bacteria poop, they give us amino acids that we use as bricks to build other things in our body. So amazing. Probiotics also release things like organic acids, specifically lactic acid. Lactic acid has an essential function, not just in keeping the gut lining healthy, but also protecting the body from heavy metals. So we typically think of forever substances like heavy metals getting into the body and staying there. And lactic acid is there to make sure as there's as little impact as possible from those heavy metals. Good bacteria also help with enzyme production. Enzymes are especially folded proteins that do special jobs for us. I can't even begin to go into how many ways enzymes affect the body, but enzymes are basically the keys that unlock all the chambers to all the functions that have to happen in your body. So without those enzymes, those locks would be closed. The doors to what your body needs to get done would be inaccessible. And without good bacteria, we would be missing many of those enzymes. So important. You may have heard bad bacteria create lipopolysaccharides that are neurotoxins. Good bacteria produce exopolysaccharides. Those have so many jobs at lowering cholesterol, again, antimicrobial job, antioxidant job to reduce oxidative stress in the body, and anti-cancer. So cancer cleanup is enacted by some exopolysaccharides produced by gut bacteria, the good kind. Good bacteria also produce peptides. You may as well call peptides the fountain of youth and health. I'm sure if you purchase expensive beauty treatments, they include peptides. And peptides naturally come from bacteria in your own gut when you're eating the good bacteria. The next category cannot thank my creator enough for making something like this, but good bacteria also release plasmalogens. Plasmalogens may turn off the plaque making process in the heart and the blood vessels. The other word for that plaque building process you might have heard of is arteriosclerosis that leads to heart failure. So I have mentioned to several of my patients and maybe even said it on this podcast, in the last 6 months, there's a very clear animal model for specific agents like plasmalogens turning on and turning off the T regulatory cells that lead to plaque buildup. So the inflammation leads to plaque buildup, leads to heart failure, and all of that can be stopped at the level of the good bacteria. These plasmalogens also may slow nerve cell death to preserve the life and the integrity of nerve cells. The last area is biosurfactants. Biosurfactants literally clean and shine your gut lining to make it too slippery to collect a layer of slimy, sticky stuff called biofilm. Biofilm is the beginning of the end for the integrity of your gut lining. Remember, your gut lining is only one cell thick. It's like a bunch of patchwork quilt squares or different shapes, maybe squares or hexagons or so forth, whip stitched together. That whip stitching is very vulnerable to becoming pulled apart and leaky if we have biofilm there that's irritating and breaks it down. So those biosurfactants literally clean and shine the gut lining, making it slippery so you can't collect biofilm that would degrade your gut lining. So some of you know my journey. In 2014, I got very serious about my gut health, and within 18 months of reducing the irritants in my gut and getting on a probiotic regimen, I reversed my hypothyroidism within 18 months. And I've tested more than 9 years and tested as very typical thyroid function. So no problems with thyroid function 9 years after setting myself straight through my probiotic journey. I was so excited to get 7 women started on their own journey. So last weekend, I led 7 women through a 3-day launch of their gut health rebuilding journey in something we call the Reboot Plus Reset. So it started with a specific set of botanicals and a lot of fruit and plant vegetable matter, essentially eliminate animal products for a 2.5-day period and give the gut time to enact that cleaning and shining process, and also to start to grow the beneficial bacteria in the lower gut. So if you're interested about joining Reboot Plus, getting access to that course and all the materials, just message me. I'm available on all the social media platforms at Groove for Health, at GROOVEFOR Health. And I'm excited to get you started as well on a path toward all those good things that we listed. Why do we talk about this? Because there is a direct nerve connection between the intestines and the brainstem. That connection tells your brain how inflamed or not inflamed to be, and lets you know when it is okay to relax, to rest, to set aside anxiety, and literally take a chill pill. So I hope you are thrilled as I am about all the ways that good bacteria can help, because this is very safe, low impact remedy for some of the most devastating chronic illnesses that we could list today. And I'm so thankful that these good bugs do exist and we can take advantage of them. I'm so excited that the very protocol that got me into the state of the best health of my life is now coming available for kids. So if you've ever had trouble getting your kids to eat probiotic foods, take nasty probiotic capsules, or they're too young to even consider taking a capsule, there's now a probiotic rich drink that is a probiotic plus the most favorite fiber of those good bacteria, a symbiotic blend that leads to colonization of those good bacteria that do all the things we talked about today. If you are at all interested in learning about this product, it's a revolutionary, awesome tasting way to get kids the health they need from the ground up, from the youngest age onward. And just let me know. You can contact me at Groove for Health on any of the social media platforms, at Groove for Health, GROOVEFORHEALTH. Thanks so much.
Thank you for tuning into this episode of the Brain Health Hookup. I hope this episode radiates with the conviction that generating mental wellness needs to be fun and safe. We want you to find your power and understand your innate design to flourish in everything you do. And we hope that inspires you to come back and listen for more. I'd love for you to leave a review of this podcast, as it helps the show grow to reach more people who need to make mental wellness fun. You can find a leave a review button, as well as all the YouTube visuals, bonuses, and ways we can help to support you on our website, podcast.grooveforhealth.com. I appreciate you more than words can say. See you next time, and remember, together we have everything we need.